artists. They get the dreads like Lil Wayne. The tattoos, same. The Bernard Arnault, who sells luxury products, he loves to pay rappers to promote his stuff because they know that whatever the artists are wearing, that the kids are gonna wear. So if the artists sorry, if the kids are gonna wear what the artists are wearing, you mean to tell me they're not gonna think what the artists are thinking? Like, are we really that naive? Are we really that naive to think that this does not connect to our culture and our community? Are we working that hard to remain blind to this? And so the debate was a little frustrating to me because that was like debating that 2 plus 2 is 4. And I felt that this goes back to what I was saying earlier, parasocial influence, that people will excuse harmful behavior when they admire the status of the people they're talking about. So the difference between me and Mike is that Mike, he's always been in the in crowd of the bougie Negroes, and you have proximity to these celebrities, and I was invited into that crowd. I just didn't like it. I like being in spaces of substance. I don't care. Flashy stuff doesn't it's not of interest to me. I like substance. And then if you have flash on top of the substance, that's interesting too. I respect that. But a lot of times you have flash and emptiness, right? Empty souls that just look good and sound good, but they're not good. And so he's up there. I think for him it was probably difficult because he was talking about some of his friends. These were people that he actually knew. And his whole argument was like, oh, it's just creative expression and it's and freedom of speech and everything else. And I was like, I know you've read some psychology books. I know that you understand what influence looks like. I know you get this. Like you're a smart man. So what's happening here is sometimes we drop our guard or we lower our standard and our values because we want to be one of the cool kids. Right? It's just like eighth grade when there was a little boy that was smoking cigarettes and getting in trouble and doing bad stuff, and you would see the bad stuff happening, and you sometimes maybe didn't say anything because you didn't want people to make fun of you or kick you out of the cool crowd, or you got a chance to sit and eat lunch with the popular kids, and so you're going to let everything go. Everybody does that. I mentioned the time that I did, well, that I was on that Stephen A. Smith show a long time ago, and with Method Man, and Method Man said something ignorant, and I just kind of laughed along, and my father called my father, like my dad was like that's bullshit. Like, why are you agreeing with something that's stupid? He said, never go along with ignorance, never co-sign on ignorance. And so maybe I think this is something to think about, right? Because the people that got in trouble with Diddy, the people that were most likely to be victimized, in my view, were the people who were likely going to be easily manipulated by his wealth and status, which gave him a certain type of authority, which meant everything goes. The people that were able to avoid the victimization in many cases were the ones who had a code of ethics and morals that led them to say, I don't care how much money you're going to offer me, I'm not going in that room, I'm not participating. Or Denzel, when Denzel Washington would talk about the Hollywood parties and he'd say, you got to leave before the devil gets there, right? Or maybe somebody who has financial enough economic independence to be able to walk away and say, I don't need this. I'm gonna still be okay. I'll figure out another way to get what I want. And this is a big deal in entertainment. I knew a young lady who was trying to be the next Taraji P. Henson, and she admired Taraji and Halle Berry and all that, and met this guy. He happened to be a Jewish guy, and he impressed the hell out of her. He took her to all the award shows and showered her with money and gifts, and put famous people on the phone, and then when right before they're about to sign the contract, he pulls out his penis and just says, "Hey, you take care of me, I'll take care of you." And that required her to make a hard decision. And so this is one of the reasons why Black people especially have to understand and train children on how to be willing to do the work required to develop an independent base of power. You don't have to have enough power to conquer the world or to exploit people, but at least enough power where you've got a home base. Because if you've always got a home base, you always have a place where you know you can go and still be safe. This is why the strong Black fathers matter, because the little girl who knows that my daddy's always gonna have me, even if this raggedy Negro does not, can walk away from the relationship and go and her daddy will pick her up anywhere in town that she needs a pickup. This is why wealth matters. An economically independent young person that gets into a bad situation where somebody's asking them to do something stupid over money can say, you know, that's okay. I've got 50,000 in my stock portfolio that my parents helped me build and it's when I was a kid, so I'm still going to be all right. Do you understand? So power doesn't mean the ability to control and manipulate others. Power at least means that you have the ability to manage and control yourself. I'm not telling you to go get enough power to conquer the world. I just want you to have enough power to hold it down in the places that matter to you. Do you understand what I'm saying?